could, but
Okay.
I kind of don't want to show my face here.
Okay.
I'm kind of shy. But what if you're going to put it on the internet? I don't want to be seen there. That's the thing I'm worried about.
Okay.
All right.
That
That's
is
okay. Yeah.
perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about this.
Well, the reason we record is because there's so many other people, and we've seen other videos that we put on the YouTube. Many more people come in and watch them because they have very similar questions and they want answers. So they come and listen to the video, they get the answers, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
So before we get started on questions, I did want to, I don't know if you guys get Spooky2 email from the support one, but they sent out one yesterday about 2 webinars that they're doing. One is on Thursday, March 10th. It's at 8 a.m. Nanjing, China time. So I don't know how that would translate. Anyway, but
it will Wednesday, tomorrow, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay.
So I think I'll cancel the other meeting.
Okay. And so they have a introduction to Spooky2 and go walk through the XM generator and the generator X and how you use all the Spooky2 accessories and all of that type of stuff. So basic information for beginners, an overview for beginners that they're doing. So it's a first training course. And then the second one that they're doing is on March 12th. And that one is at 10:30 p.m. Nanjing China time. And that one is all about Scalar. An introduction to Spooky2 Scalar. So
that'll be 9:30 a.m. Eastern.
9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's a good time to.
Yeah, it's a bit early for you, Colorado, right? So it's
well, that's at 7:30, I think. Yeah, but it's still doable. But that I don't have a lot of experience with the Scalar machine, so that might be a good thing to.
Yeah. I mean, I want to attend both of them. I think it'll be good to get exposure to it.
Right.
Yeah. So we will so who wants to go first to ask a question? I think both Janet and Rena have a question.
Well, okay, maybe Janet, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm new. Actually, I noticed the spooky training ones, and I missed the last one on the beginner one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I have a question with, I've read up stuff as I have a laptop that I'm going to download the software on in the next couple of days.
Yes.
Now you use the Wi-Fi to do that. And you download, and then you have to stop the Wi-Fi and the updates and your screensaver. Is that correct?
You want to stop your screensaver, definitely, because the screensaver will interrupt the software sometimes, depending on the screensaver, but it's just best to just disable the screensaver for that. Once you have the software completely uploaded onto your computer, they recommend that you keep that computer isolated from the internet until you want to do updates or any of those type of things. Like for me, I try to keep my laptop off of the internet as much as possible. A lot of times when I will do updates, I will do updates on my main computer and then take, a jump drive or whatever, they're different names for that. And I will take the updates over to my laptop and upload them that way rather than doing the uploads directly from the internet, but you can do that. The reason why is that the operating software on our computers regularly updates when you're connected to the internet. And sometimes those updates will interrupt the Spooky2 software, especially if you're running programs at that time. So that's why they recommend that it be disconnected from the internet as much as possible.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and also the automatic updates. many
Uh-huh.
times, it will just restart the computer. So you don't want that to happen when your program is running.
Yeah, which means that it will just shut down your Spooky2 software and everything without you
Yeah.
being able to save where you're at. So
Right.
Thank you.
Any other question, Janet? Is that it?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Okay. Rina, your turn.
I guess it's me, yes.
Yes.
I don't know how to start this thing. Well, I tried to do the chain thing, you know, oh God, what's the name of this? You know,
So when
like,
when you chain two programs together, is that what you're talking?
that's right. Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't figure it out properly. I'm not very good with technology things, but well, oh God, it's so many. I had too many things in my head right now. But so it didn't work, and I went to the program, and for my throat right now. So I went to like throat something, and or maybe what did I do? Throat and cough, things like that. And so I put it on the program, and right now it's running. And I put on this, I think it's cycling.
Okay.
And it's I'm okay. I think I'm not perfect. I'm still like doing that. So that's the thing I had to mute sometime when I'm really coughing. Like things like
So
that.
you have excess phlegm in your
Right.
throat that is
Yeah, I guess
classy.
it is. Yeah, it's not coming out though, but
Okay.
it's like so my voice is like high pitch and low pitch and annoying.
So are you saying that the programs aren't working for your throat, or that you couldn't get the programs chained and working together on Spooky?
No, I guess right now it's working like that, I guess, but it's not perfectly. Maybe I didn't choose the right program. That's the thing. Maybe.
Okay. When you're struggling with trying to find which programs work for the condition that you have, sometimes the best option is to do a biofeedback scan and run those frequencies, and then see how that works. If you do that for, say, you do a biofeedback scan, and then you run those scans, you will pick 10 of the top 10 frequencies that it believes your body needs. And so it'll run those in half an hour blocks. And you can run that as much during the day as you want to. You can do a scan and then run it and scan and run it, or you can scan it and then set up the program to run those frequencies and let them run for a couple of days and see if they do anything, and then run another scan. Typically, you would want to run a biofeedback scan, about every 2 to 3 days with that. The goal with the biofeedback scans is that you eventually want to get it so that the biofeedback scan comes back with no frequencies whatsoever, which means that it has cleared out all kinds of things out of your system. But usually that takes months. I have yet to get to that point.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you're familiar with how to run a biofeedback scan or.
No, but I've been reading all these things. Biofeed. Okay, yeah, I guess.
It's something that you can try. My general thought is, if you are using contact mode, contact mode is about 4 times faster than using the remote. So if you're using contact mode, you should, and you're trying to get rid of something that's like a pathogen or some type of a cold or something, you should start seeing some kind of results within 12 to 48 hours with contact mode. With remote, I'm finding that it's 3 to 4 days is
I see.
the gauge for using remote. That's just my experience. So if the programs that you're using, if you're using contact mode, if you don't see any appreciable results in about 2 days, then you may want to think about switching up the frequencies or the programs that you're using.
I see. Yeah, yeah.
The other thing that you can do too is run, now you've already run the terrain program, correct?
Well, I did it before a few years ago.
Oh, a few years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So it could technically be time for you to do the terrain program again. But one of the other things that you can do also is do the detox maintenance program. It's like 4 hours and 29 minutes or something like that. And run that for a couple of days on remote while you're running the other programs. Because sometimes that will hit whatever type of cold or virus or bacteria or whatever is causing that excess phlegm in your throat.
This is good. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. This is very good. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm finding that a lot of times that if I cannot figure out specifically pinpoint some kind of cold or symptom that seems like, you know, common cold, flu, virus, whatever, you know, my daughter will come home and she's not feeling very good. And if I can't pinpoint it, a lot of times the detox programs that Spooky has does a fantastic job at clearing out that or at least helping make the recovery faster. So.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think I have more problem than the throat, something to do with my tooth.
Okay.
And the throat, I think when I check my throat, I put my finger on the throat. It looks like I have a little bit of nodule or something. So sometimes I feel like when I move or I swallow, I get like little click, something, you know, twitching. Maybe it's a muscle going over my muscle.
Okay.
I don't know, but and I'm afraid of doctors, so I don't want to go to doctors. I don't even have one actually right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and that's it. That's the tough part is pinpointing exactly what works. Usually, like what Shri and I have found in other ways, because he works with a Chinese health technique called Pitalogen.
I was just thinking of the same thing, Louise.
Yes, and it has to.
That will be a good help for Rina.
Right,
Yeah,
and so and basically, it what you're going through right now sounds like some kind of blockage somewhere.
Right.
Now, the Spooky2 will help you clear out the blockages, will help you clear out, you can, like the detox programs will help you clear out your system. You could use lymph programs to clear the lymph system as well. But that in conjunction with Pitalogen, where it talks about it helps you with, it's a slapping technique that helps clear out you know, the meridians in your body and gets the chi and everything moving in your body. And so a lot of times injury and illness is due to some kind of blockage somewhere.
Oh, what's the name again about Pitology?
Pitalogen, you know what? Let me and Shri can give you more information on that.
Yeah, so Rina, I think for the phlegm that you have, I think you'll definitely see a very good benefit. I tell you, just last week, a young man came to me and he had a pain in the shoulder, and he had very tight muscles in the legs. So he came, and half an hour later, he bent down. You know, when you're standing up, you bend down, and he could touch the floor. And he said, wow, I can't believe it. I can touch the floor after.
That's
He
great.
goes to gym every day. He does so much other stuff.
Wow.
But within half an hour, he could touch the floor. And next day he texted me, oh, my shoulder pain is gone. So.
I love it. Yeah, that sounds great. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I mean, if you want to you have my email. So just send me
Yeah.
an email and we'll connect and we can talk about it.
Okay.
Sometime.
Yeah. So the paidology thing is nothing to do with spooky, right? It's somebody.
No,
It's a person.
Yeah, it's a Chinese technique. So it
Okay.
comes from the same source as acupuncture, acupressure, Tai Chi, Qigong. They all
love
come
this.
from the same source.
That's great. I will do that. Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you said about lymph. Yeah, I did. I ran with a lymph. Yeah, I did it, and I don't know if it really helped. Maybe I'm still don't know if everything I do is right. So
Right. And that's challenging.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have when you find this specific program that your body needs, it is remarkable how quickly everything clears up. But finding that specific program with
exactly.
the spooky can be challenging.
Mhm.
Like I will use my my father-in-law as an example. He had quintuple bypass surgery, and
Wow.
he was having a lot of gut pain. And so we did the biofeedback on his abdomen and ran those frequencies. And within 10-15 minutes of us running those frequencies, the gut pain would go away. And so we thought it was because, when they go in there for these surgeries, they move a lot of stuff around. And so everything was settling. And so it was easing that pain, and it would last, the relief would last about 48 hours. And then we would have to do it again. But then after about 2 weeks, then the gut pain was completely gone. So it helped clear up all of that for him.
Wonderful.
But on the other hand, we ended up getting some kind of cold or virus. The whole entire family did. And so it was challenging for us to find, I found certain frequencies and things that would help, but it wasn't as quick of a relief, because there are so many different types of, colds and viruses and things out there, that trying to find the specific one for this was challenging. So after a few days of trying to find whichever specific one it was, I just went with the, detox, maintenance, and immune support ones, because at that point I was like, I don't have, I haven't gotten a hang of the muscle testing or dowsing enough to really cue into that. And then when you're using biofeedback for those type of things, it's helpful, but you're also going up against other issues that the body has, as well as getting hits for other issues that the body's having, except for it instead of specifically tuning into that one thing. So so that's what I ended up doing when we all ended up with some kind of, weird bug. So, but if you can keep playing with it, and running the detox things and the immune support stuff and doing the biofeedback, will eventually get to it. It's just going to take time.
Yeah. I did a biofeedback, but that was a few years ago again. And it has like lots of things. it was so many things that I checked the, I learned later that it's not accurate. So biofeedback is not very accurate. And I thought, well, why am I going to?
Yeah, which generator do you have? Do you have the blue XM generator or the generator X that has the 2 ports on it?
Both. I have the G. Actually, I have the blue.
You have
I never use the blue one, but
Okay.
the GX, yes, it's much easier.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. So the biofeedback on that, the biofeedback on the generator X is very accurate, but the reverse lookup is not very accurate. That is when you do a reverse lookup to find out, like it gives you a whole bunch it gives you those 10 frequencies, right, in a list. When the box pops up and it says we found, it says found these frequencies, and you can save that, in biofeedback thing and put that in a killing shell and run it. But if you do a reverse lookup on those frequencies, it is going to find every single program that Spooky has ever created that has those specific frequencies in there. And so it'll tell you that you have like 25 different types of cancer and, and all of these other type of things on there. It doesn't actually mean that you have those conditions. It just means that that particular frequency will help with all these different types of cancer, all these different types of autoimmune diseases, all these different types of colds, flus, viruses, all of these type of things. That one particular frequency that it says that, your body needs to get rid of is also the same frequency that will help with all of those symptoms. So when you do a reverse lookup, it does not mean that you have any or all of those diseases. It just literally means that it found that frequency within those programs, and that is the frequency that your body needs to have in your body. So it doesn't, it's that part of it is it's not a diagnostic tool. It doesn't narrow down and say, hey, you have this specific disease or condition. But it just simply says, this is what your body needs right now, is these frequencies in your body. So if that helps, because there's a lot of confusion with that. And so anymore, they recommend that people don't do the reverse lookup after they've done a biofeedback scan, because all it does is scare people.
And maybe really scared. It really scared me. It's terrible. Cancer.
And it's like, and and cancer and Lyme disease are the 2 big ones that people buy their Spooky machines for, to improve their health and, get rid of those pathogens or get rid of the cancer. And so, for someone who may have been diagnosed with one type of cancer, go in there and they do a reverse lookup and they go, oh my gosh, I have 16 different types of cancer. No. So,
oh my God. Yes.
And it is not true. That is not the case.
And it makes it worse because the person who has cancer, it's like, maybe instead of dying in 6 months, he's going to die in 2 days, for example. It can be.
Yes. And so that's why they keep saying more and more that, and I'm wondering if somewhere down the line, when they update the software, they're just going to take out that reverse lookup button, because especially in the past year, all of the facilitators on the Facebook sites, and a lot of the people in the forum on the webpage, and even in the webinars that they're doing and the videos, talks about, don't worry about the reverse lookup. Don't look at that. It's just going to make you worried. It doesn't mean you have those diseases.
So I have something to share, maybe a question. So I wanted to do a kidney program. So I looked up in the programs and there were a bunch of them came up. So what I did was, so whichever looked sort of relevant, I just picked all of them. and created one preset using all of them. And I ran it. So I ran it several days back. And what happens is when the program is running after a day or so, I see swelling in both of my feet, around the ankle and the feet itself. And my sleep in the night deteriorates, sleep quality. So I said, well, maybe it could be something else. So then I ran the Hersheimer program. And then I stopped Hersheimer and then ran the kidney again. I did it 2 or 3 times. And each time when I would run this program, I get this swelling in both my feet.
Okay.
So I was just wondering, is that normal? Would that, I mean, it sounds like a healing reaction, right? But it shouldn't happen all the time, right? I mean,
It shouldn't happen all the time. Usually, when it's funny that you said that, because I just created a kidney program for my father-in-law too, and he has now he had swelling in his feet, which was a sign of edema, but that is also a sign of compromised kidneys, right?
Mhm.
That's the swelling in your feet, but the swelling in your feet is also a sign of your body's inability to get rid of the liquids, maybe that your kidneys are functioning, very, very well, faster than your body's ability to release the liquid, from what I've been reading anyway. But in that case, I would say for you may not want to run that kidney program like 24/7 for a few days. If you want to support your kidneys, you may want to run it like in the morning and then after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then just run it one time in the morning and one time in the evening. There are some programs that will disrupt your sleep. That sounds like it is one of those. The Schumann resonance, which is a fantastic thing for like moderating your harmonizing your energy to earth energy, and so balancing that out, because we're all kind of have to be in sync with gravitational forces and the resonance of the earth, right? And when we're out of sync with that, it can cause emotional issues and all that other type of stuff. So, but the Schumann resonance you don't want to run at night, because it does makes the body and the brain wakeful, and it disrupts your sleep. Kidneys too, they slow down in the evening when you go to sleep. It's a natural process so that you don't wake up. If someone is waking up 2-3 times in the night to go to the bathroom, then that is actually a problem. They want to sleep longer. So if you are stimulating your kidneys with the frequencies, with some of those frequencies in there, it may actually be disrupting your sleep. And so our body goes through a cycle. And then we have the wakeful cycle in the morning, before usually around 11 or noon, right? But then after 3 o'clock, your body starts going into a downward cycle as well. So that's why sometimes if you want to run those frequencies, you run them in the morning, and then you run them after 3 o'clock when your body has shifted into a different phase. But then just run that program just one time beforehand and see if that helps. It may be that you're just overstimulating your kidneys, at that time, not necessarily harmful, but when you get effects like that, you do want to back off some.
Yeah. I think you're right. That's what I need to do. Yeah, it's good to run these things, go through the experience. What it really tells me that the Spooky does work.
Yeah, it does.
It is doing something on the body.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise, there's no other reason for it to swell up, because as soon as I do this program, that's when this reaction happens.
So my father-in-law, when he was ill, we did go into the emergency room because we felt that he was having some pneumonia. that he was getting with, and I couldn't nail down the frequency quite right. But he was also dehydrated, and we knew that it was difficult. It's difficult for him to drink a lot of liquid. And so we wanted to get him hydrated again. And when he went in there, his kidney numbers showed that his kidneys were very compromised. And so, and I imagine part of that was because of dehydration and that type of stuff. So I started running those kidney programs that you started doing. And then a week later, when they went in and they did the blood tests again, all of his kidney function was all in the normal range, back where it was supposed to be. So, you know, and granted, we got him hydrated more and that type of stuff, but I do believe that was beneficial for him. And so, and that is the challenge too, when you get to a certain point, when you have a lot of things going on in the body, where, you know, he's recovering from heart surgery, and he's got you know, and he's got some kind of virus that he ended up catching. And so, you know, our bodies do the same thing. We go through and we'll have one thing stacked on another, stacked on another. And a lot of times over our lifetime, we don't realize that these things are all kind of like working in the background. We'll have, like, most people on the planet, or in the United States anyway, have some form of Epstein-Barr virus that's just inert, going on in the background, and we don't even know we have it until we get something like a cold or flu, or we get COVID, or we even get the COVID vaccine. And then all of a sudden it's just that one thing that just triggers that the virus. And that's where you hear about people who have gotten the vaccine in the whole side of their, you know, left side of their face or whatever, they get that
Bell's palsy.
Bell's palsy. Yeah. And a lot of that could be due to the fact that they had some underlying virus, like the Epstein-Barr virus, hanging out in their body. So when we're trying to address something like Renan with her throat, you're also trying to peel back layers of toxins and environmental exposures and viruses that are hanging on there, or illnesses that never really completely went away, you know, food allergies, you just name it. It just kind of stacks one on top of the other. So when you're trying to go after one specific thing, sometimes when it comes to our health, it's all about peeling away the onion. You know, it's like taking care of one thing, and then another thing goes, oh, hey, guess what? Now this one is no longer burying me, and now this symptoms come up, and you're like, what's going on? And so you're constantly, until you eventually peel it all the way back and you deal with all of the issues that have been building up over time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so anybody else? Janet or Renan, I think everybody is done with the question. I mean, we don't have to last an hour. When I discussed it, there's a good discussion, and we can call it a day.
Yeah, I'll probably have more questions coming up, but that was actually really helpful. And also the podologen, the slapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very helpful too. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so if both of you, if you want to send me an email, and I'll set up a little meeting, and I can really show you how the process works.
Okay, thank you so much.
Zoom call. Yeah.
So does it mean that we do it by ourselves, this thing, or is it we go to somebody?
You absolutely, you can. Yes. Yeah, it's a self-healing technique.
Okay.
Self-healing technique. Very easy to do. I'll show you. Yeah, very easy to do. Yeah.
Interesting. But with someone with polio, does it also will help?
Well, we'll discuss it when we get together. Okay. Otherwise, you'll have too many questions in a spooky meeting.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. And what, you know, and one of the things that we found out when our group started getting together long ago, when we started, was that there's more than one method to heal yourself. And a lot of times multiple methods create the best result.
Right.
So when one method may not be doing exactly what you're hoping for, if the more tools you add to your toolbox, the more different modalities that you can use to work on your health, the more options that you have to get at what, get at that level of health that you want to be at. And from my experience, it's been several different types of healing practices that has been very, very beneficial for me, that ultimately helped get rid of Lyme disease and Epstein-Barr and hyperthyroidism.
Wow.
So, and it was, and it is it was a long process, but it was a steady improvement. And, it wasn't like I would say for someone who has gone through chemotherapy where they're really crippled and sick for a very long period of time. Well, maybe not long period of time, but, for a while, it's a very harsh healing modality, I guess you would say. If it's like, it's a poison, but, it has healed people as well, but it seems to me very harsh. And so with a lot of the alternative ones, you can do them all concurrently. And it just seems that even though you will have some bad days or maybe even some bad weeks, it just seems to be a steady improvement, you can look back at and say, hey, I am so much better than I was 3 months ago. Hey, I was so much better than I was, 6 months ago. And then, hey, everything's, taken care of and gone. So it made a believer out of me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And again,
Right.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. It doesn't go in a straight line, right? It goes, sort of zigzag.
Right.
But it gets there.
Yeah. But the good thing is that for the most part, you never end up, once when you've hit a really bad low in your health, for the most part, from my experience, is that you never end up quite back at that place. They're at that terrible place again. And so that's what is fantastic. And again, unlike certain things where you can't put certain medications on medications or certain treatments on certain treatments, a lot of these things you can do together, like the pitalogen and spooky treatments and the scalar treatments and radionics and meditation and acupuncture and all of that, massage, all of that type of stuff can all go together.